Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Barby Ingle.
I'm petite, so I don't even know if you can see me. Yeah. Good morning. I'm Barby Ingle, and back in 2002, I was on my way to work one morning, and I was in a parking lot waiting to park, and I saw this 15-passenger van coming up behind me, and I twisted between my steering wheel and the passenger seat and looked back and watched him run into me without stopping. He never saw my vehicle. Apparently it was petite too. And that 8 seconds of an accident changed my life. I thought I would be okay. They found me wandering in the building. I was the head coach at Washington State University, living my best life. And I was crying because I couldn't find the gym, and I was literally 5 feet from the gym. So I had hit my head in the car accident. They took me to the hospital. They said, you have whiplash and a concussion. You'll be fine in 3 or 4 days. And here I am. That was 2002. Now it's 2025. And from that day forward, I was searching to find answers and listening to every doctor. It took 42 providers and moving to Arizona from Washington State, losing my job to be able to be here today. I spent 7 years in a wheelchair and bedbound. And most people look at me and go, oh, she's totally healthy. She's beaten all these things. She's doing great. I still have challenges that I live with, but I found ways to get through, get to them and through them. And through that, I was overtreated, undertreated, and mistreated. Most people that look normal or healthy are not seen and not understood. And so I started first advocating for myself, and when I was able to start using the words, I would go into the doctor's office and just say, fix me, help me, I'm in severe pain, help me. And when I started learning the words to describe my pain, burning, shooting, bone pain, sometimes it feels like lightning's coming out of the sky and striking me anywhere in my body randomly. I'm sleeping 23 hours a day. It's very difficult to live a life. And when I started using those adjectives and actually describing, that's when a doctor finally looked at all of me and pieced together the different pieces. But in that process leading up to that moment and that time, I had my rib removed. That doctor made a mistake and messed up my lungs. So now I have a lung challenge. And he also, one of the bone spurs was hooked around my brachial plexus nerve bundle. So every time I would turn my head to the right, I would pass out. And these things continued and continued until that day where he said, I think I know what's wrong. And I was able to go home, study what he said. First time I advocated for myself, instead of just jumping in and doing whatever the doctor said, I said, let me go home and research this, figured out what I needed to do, and then a week later went back to his office and had the procedure and got the diagnosis. Back then it was called reflex sympathetic dystrophy. Now it's called AlgoNeuroDystrophy. The original name for it was causalgia back in the Civil War. The name has changed over 20 times because it's a rare disease. And that was why it was so hard for medical providers to see all of me and not just treat my lungs, not just treat my shoulder, not just treat my knee, not just treat the burning pain. They had to see the whole of me to be able to treat me. And through that, I learned that I needed to have a team, and I needed to be an active part of that team. And I encourage other patients to go and become an active part of the team of people that you're working with, the nurses, the physical therapists, the doctors, the psychologists, psychiatrists, your pharmacist, everybody that's on the team. It's not going to be a magic pill that treats you and then you get back to life. It's going to be challenges that you face. You find the thing that works for that challenge and you move forward with that. And so it's been a multimodality approach that's actually helped me. But in 2007, I went into a medical conference similar to this, with all medical providers, and they said, you are a patient, you cannot speak to anybody, but you can sit in the room and listen. So I took the opportunity and sat in the room and listened, and when the professor was done, My husband got up and ran to the front of the room. I was in a wheelchair, still in the back, and he said, "This is what my wife has. You just talked about this. We were here to learn about a different treatment, but you talked about this new treatment. What's coming down the pipeline?" And we started realizing there's always new things coming down the pipeline. And we had to get activated to find those things. From there, he said, "Call me on Monday, call my office, I'll get you in, I'll treat you." And we said, okay, and we called on Monday, and they said there's a 5-year waiting list for the treatment. And in the meantime, you have to stop all of your other treatments for this one to work. So for 9 months, I had no treatments. I thought I was going to die. I thought my husband would come home from work and find me dead from the excruciating pain and the other symptoms that I was experiencing. I went into the hospital 9 months later and in a wheelchair, and 7 days later I was able to walk out. And you think, wow, I've gotten so much of my life back. And since then, I've learned whole genome sequencing is important. I've been through stem cell therapy. I have an oral orthotic device that I wear in my mouth to lower brainstem inflammation. There's not just one treatment. One treatment got me so far. And then when I started looking at and adding in other treatments, now I'm able to get up and live life and do more in different ways. It's not the same life that I had before, but it's a new way of living. And it's a way that taught me to share my story and to encourage other patients to share their stories so that we can be the best we can be in our daily life as well as in society. And through that, I've had many opportunities and experiences here in the state as well as federally. I've got to testify in front of the Department of Defense. I was the only civilian on the panel, and my mom was an Army colonel, so I knew how it ranked and I knew what was happening. But even the doctors were military doctors, and they could not talk to the general the way that I could talk to the general. So they were all deferring to me, and I was able to get 6 clinics opened in the United States for other veterans to be able to get the same treatments that I've been getting so that they could get back and live more life in a way that was more fulfilling for them. And many experiences like that over the years, but it literally taught me we have to be our own advocate. We need to work as a team, and then we need to also lift up other patients, whether they have the same condition as you or a totally different condition. I now am the vice president of the International Pain Foundation. We work with over 166 different conditions, and there's over 10,000 rare diseases. And so I use my voice and encourage other people to use theirs, and I am encouraging all of you to be that cheerleader of hope for yourself and for others so that we can get the things that we need in society so that we can better our lives and better the world. So, thank you.